set the intensity to 0.85. Okay, the ambient to 1. And the distance to 35. Okay. And if you click on the secondary lights, the intensity should be much lower, right? All the values should be much lower because they're secondary. So the intensity for the secondary will be 0.5, something around 0.5 really. Doesn't really need to be the exact same number. The ambient should be 1. And the distance will be 35. Okay, so we got the lights out the way. We need to go into the render settings. So the render settings should be up there as well. Otherwise, it's in between preferences and stencil. On that, you need to change the render quality, so that would mean to render properties. There you go. Change the details from 3 to 4, which is the maximum, and you need to enable the ambient occlusion as well. So just click on ambient occlusion, A occlusion. Okay. Now go to the shadow to change the settings of the shadows. Change the rays right there to a value around 400. Yeah, for the rays. Oh, sorry, resolution. My bad. So resolution for around 4000, rays 400. Blur should be set to 1. Don't want to add too much blur. And the V depth should be set to 1 as well. Okay, these are the settings that you will use all the time. And after this, you need to press on BPR shadow button to actually render. But what we do is just press S to cancel this. Go into the light settings again. Click on the primary lights. Make sure this mine looks something like this. Well, you can see the shadows, ambient occlusion. The shadows are smooth as well because we changed the angle of them. Now to save this results, we need to go into BPR render pass. To do that, we need to go into the render tab, BPR render pass, and we will save all these images, right, as Photoshop documents. So I'll just click on this one, go to desktop, create a new folder. Already done that. I'll create another folder, name it main renders. I'll choose the type as PSD, which is a Photoshop document. Make sure it's
How do you create a new
Photoshop
folder?
document.
How do you create a
Create
new
one.
folder? What do you press?
Right click, new folder. Right click, new and folder.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay, so the type needs to be PSD, which is a Photoshop document. I'll name this main because it contains all the main colors. And then I can do the same for the other ones. These are already named, which is much easier.
So you just named it main?
You can name it whatever. I just named it main because it pretty much is the main layer inside Photoshop, because it contains all the colors, the shadows, ambient occlusion, everything. Okay, so I'm gonna save depth map, shadow map, ambient occlusion map, and mask map as well.
What's the character called again?
This one,
Yeah,
beholder.
a beholder. Okay.
Yeah. So here you go. Mask. Okay.
They're all saved in Photoshop, yeah?
Not save in Photoshop, save them as Photoshop files.
I mean, yeah. That's what I meant.
So the
PSD.
extensions should be PSD, yeah. Disable shadows and ambient occlusion. And then go into the skin shade material and change this to something like flat color.
Disable render and disable shadows.
Yep, so render, render properties, and from here I will disable the shadows and ambient occlusion because I don't really need them anymore.
Okay,
What
yeah.
we'll do right now is begin rendering different materials. These renders, I'm going to save them as well as PSD files. So, the first material that we're going to render with is called flat color, which basically renders only the color. After you select the material, please don't forget to hit BPR, the BPR button. We need to render it. After this, after it's rendered, I can just go into BPR render pass and save only the shaded version, right? We don't want to composite, we don't need depth, we don't need the mask, we need only the shaded version this time. I'm gonna click on this, I'm gonna go back to the folder, create a new one called materials. Usually I don't name this, but I'm just gonna simplify the process for you. I'm gonna name all of the materials. We have the flat color material. Make sure, sorry, it's saved as a PSD file. Save. Next material should be MC skeleton, which is madcap skeleton right here. And for this one, don't really need colors anymore. We will disable the colors from the subtool tab. If we click on this brush icon, I can disable all the colors. If you still have color on the model, that means that the hue is selected. If you go on the left side of the screen, just make sure that this color is set to white. Just gonna render again. Okay, I'm gonna save the render. Skeleton. Next material should be framer 01. Keep in mind, if you don't see the materials that I'm saying right now, you need to import them. I already gave you the materials on Ola. To import them, click on load, drag and drop all the materials from the folder in Ola into this folder. Right? And every time you want to open that specific material, just search for it here. Okay, so like I said, the next material should be framer 01.
Is there no way of actually putting it into the ZBrush?
What do you mean?
I mean, instead of going to the menu, just to actually put it, all the materials in the material tab on ZBrush.
Yeah, but that means that you need to change the UI. I'll show you another time how to do that. Okay. So framer 01. I'll go over this again, so don't worry if you're falling behind. The next one, let's see what we have here. Now for the subsurface scattering effect inside Photoshop, we can use the soft solder. Render it. Save the render. Again, make sure that only the shaded render is saved. Okay. Next one, we could render the reflected map and the reflected map number 2. So first I'm gonna take a render of this. Let's search for metal material.
How do you make the character change to the material that you've chosen?
Go to the material menu, change the material from here.
But your character's changing as you choose the material, mine isn't.
Just select the material and then press on the render button.
I did, it's still not changing. So basically, I've got that material now. Yeah? And
Make sure that the polypaint is disabled, okay? So click on the brushes, on this brush icon,
oh right,
okay?
on all of them.
All of them. Okay, and also make sure that the color is set to white.
On this bit.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
See, now it's changing. So disable the polypaint for the subtools.
Paint. Yes, tell me how to do it.
Yeah, you have this slider over here. Scroll down.
Oh right, okay, I see.
So it's rendered.
Yeah, do you save all
All of these, yes. Put this on these, okay? So. Okay.
this one as well?
No, that one.
Just-
make sure the depth and inclusion of that is safe.
Okay.
go into the render settings. Render properties. There you go. Just click on shadows and ambient occlusion to disable them. Now go into the material. And first just choose flat color. There you go, render it. Actually no, first make sure the downloaded folder or the Matcos is open. So, not this one, but the one that you downloaded from OMA with the Matcos.
Okay. I can't really remember where I put it because I just put it in the.
That's fine, you can just download it again. I think it's
Okay.
a small size file anyway, so it's gonna be a lot faster. You need to close that folder first.
It.
Yeah, close the folder that you opened. So Alt tab. Where is it? There you go, close this. Now we can-
Okay.
So the next material will be this one. I don't think you have this one, so I need to import again. So you need to go to the load, click on the load material, and search for metal 02.
Oh, I have that.
Oh, you have that? I mean, you might be right there, I'm not sure. Render it, and save the render. Metal 02. Next one, I don't think you have this one. It's called GK Bubblegum. Oops. See what I mean? This happens, custom one, we're back. So, GK Bubblegum. Render it. Bubblegum. Okay, next one should be next. Not this one.
Droplets, nice.
How do you choose your material? Like,
What?
do you choose the same ones for every model, or is it specific to a model?
I mean, not the same ones, really, but you need to choose a material that complements your general, you know, character. Right, so this is a creature. You want something that looks metallic, that looks very organic. right? So you can just, I mean, you can experiment with different materials. It might look better. It's just the process of trying, really. But I mean, I could always, you know, take a lot of renders because it's always good to have something to work with. But honestly, it would take too much time, and for a first lesson, I think it's too confusing, right? So I've tried to make it to keep it simple and just try to work with a few materials.
No, I just wasn't sure if there's a process to like choosing them or if it was just like a box.
Not
and
really,
every
no.
model we won't do every.
I mean, you will need to choose certain materials because they need to be chosen every time, such as the normal map. We'll choose this next steps, but other than that, it's just preference, really. Where is it? Maybe this one? Oh no. That's old.
Excuse me.
Toxic Papa. Okay. So, BS Toxic Papa, okay. I didn't name these, by the way, so.
It's alright, you don't have to lie.
Ah, you got me. Okay, so like I said, next one, let's choose the normal map. You see that you can do some really cool things with the normal map inside Photoshop. Normal map. Okay, so pretty much finished with the base materials. What we're gonna do now is actually take different renders of the lightning. Now to do that, we'll need to pretty much change the material to a blend material, which is found over here. Blend, where is blend? I already have it here. You should find it in this lower part of the material library. There you go. It's right here.
BL.
Right, so we need to change the material to blend. We also need to change the color from white to black. Here's the magic. We need to go into the light settings, disable the secondary lights. Right, so click once on the light bulb, click once on the main lights, select them, and what we need to do is actually make the main lights very intensive, so put it to something like 3 point something, 3.5. Ambient should be set to 3, and the distance should be set to 100. And you already see that the lights already affect the model. Now inside Photoshop, what we're looking for is actually the white areas, because that will pretty much reflect how the lighting is falling on the model. what we can do now is go into the light settings and choose and make renders of different angles, really.
How do you turn it from white to black?
In here, change
Oh, where was it?
the color, you
Oh,
have the
there. Oh,
hue
right.
here, right? So change from white to black to make it really reflective. Then make the main lights very intense. Make sure the distance is set to 100 and the ambient is set to 3. Okay, so like I said, what we're going to do now is select different angles for the main lights. I'm going to take renders of them. Okay, save the render. Gonna make a new folder only for the lights. Make sure you're keeping all your renders organized because there's going to be quite a few of them. Just gonna name this light 1.
Just the shaded again.
Just a shade, yes. Okay. And go back into light. Change the angle. Render it. And save the render. Light 2. Now you can take as many renders as you want. Just gonna take some 3 or 4 renders really. Don't need much more light.
I'm struggling to find my
Really?
brushes.
Your brushes. Brushes?
The brushes that you gave us to download. I mean, they're there, but I can't find the ones that you.
You mean the
are
materials?
using. Oh, materials then, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I thought they were brushes, so I can
Okay.
find it now.
Yeah, that's all.
Gotta get the word right.
Okay, and save this as well. Light 4. Now what I'm gonna do now is change the blend material.
Can I just ask, yeah, the blend one, is that the one you gave us, or is that, should that be
It's
on our
already
thing?
there, yeah.
Oh, is it? 'Cause
Yeah,
where is it then? 'Cause I can't
it's
see it.
at the bottom of the library.
At the bottom.
Should be between toy plastic and something. Right, so the next material should be jelly bean. Now this one has more gray values into it, so we can actually combine this jelly bean material with the blend material when we composite this inside Photoshop. So I'm just gonna change the angles as well with this one, render it and save the render. Again, only the shaded one. Gonna do this a couple of times. Light 2. And let's select something like this. Shade like 3. Okay. Now what we're gonna do now is go into the light settings, and instead of choosing a different angle, what I'm gonna do now is click on the sphere to actually make the light shine from behind the model, and make sure that this orange dot is set exactly in the center of the sphere. Now I will use this render for the ring light inside Photoshop. So do this again. Make sure that this orange dot is set exactly in the center of the sphere. Then click on this sphere to actually make it make the light shine from behind the model. And the result should look something like this. Render it and save only the shaded version. I'm gonna call this green light.
Has anyone by any chance got an Apple charger wire?
Yes.
Oh, thank God for that. I'm just so unorganised today.
It's not the proper brand one, but can you
Oh, okay. But it works though, yeah, because sometimes it doesn't work.
Have different subtools. If you want to select something fast inside Photoshop, we will need to have ID maps. Now to create ID maps is quite simple, honestly. All we need to do is change the material to a flat color. Okay. And we're gonna select the first material, the first subtool, which is the main body. And we're just gonna go here and choose color, any color really. Then we go into the color tab and click on fill object, fill that subtool with that specific color. We choose. We're gonna do this for each individual subtool. We're gonna choose a different color. Go into the color and click on fill object. Make sure each subtool is set to a different color. So fill object, fonts. I'm gonna set this to pink, eyes. Fill object, tongue. Fill object and tentacles. Fill object. Right, so each individual subtool will have a different color. Why we need this? This is pretty much just to select things more easily. So, for example, if I want to edit on the eyes inside Photoshop, with the magic wand tool, I can just select the specific color, and I will be able to choose only to select only the eyes. After you change the colors for each individual subtool, we need to render. So press on the BPR render button. After this, we need to go into the render and save only the shaded version. And I'll call this render. Actually, I'm going to save it into my main renders.
You're right.
Okay, so I'm going to call this ID map. I'm going to save this. And we're pretty much done inside Zbrush. What I'm going to do now is go into Photoshop. And we're going to bring all the renders that we did here inside Photoshop. So please open Photoshop.
Wait, so after you have all of the some tools filled, what do you do?
You render.
Okay.
Right, so click on the BPR button and save the shaded version.
Okay.
And I call save the shaded version as an ID map. I called it ID map. Okay, now we open Photoshop. Okay, and in Photoshop, I'm gonna create a new file. New file will have the exact same resolution that we set here in the document. Now, by default, I think if you download my file, you should have a higher resolution, because my screen is high resolution, but honestly, you can just copy this. So I think in your file you have like a 2K resolution. You can copy that resolution into the Photoshop settings here. If you don't want to, set that resolution, you can just copy these numbers, the pixels. Make sure this is set to pixels. Okay, and also make sure that the resolution of the document is set to 300, right? So that we will have the best quality possible. Okay, I'm just gonna create this. And you should have the mighty white backgrounds. Cool, so what we're gonna do now is open the folder where we saved all of the renders.
Here is width 920. Sorry, what was it?
920 by 1080.
Width and height, yeah? Hang on.
Let's see.
Custom. Oh, this one. No, not that one.
I mean, you can change it from here. Make sure that the centimeters is changed to pixels.
Okay.
Okay, so change the width to 1920, 1920, and the height,
1080.
yes. Resolution should be set to 300.
Okay.
Okay, so like I said, we're gonna bring all of the renders that we did in Zbrush in Photoshop. I'm gonna bring my main renders first. I'm gonna press enter a couple of times. Cool. Gonna bring the materials. Cool. Now I'm gonna bring the lights as well. What I'm gonna do right now is select all of them and make sure that all the layers are rasterized. So right click on the rasterize layers. What I'm going to do now is make groups so that we'll be more organized when I'm working. So I'm going to select all the lights. Including a ring light. I'm going to make a new group called lights. Okay. Make a new group for the materials as well. I'm gonna select all the materials, excluding the normal map, and I'm gonna put it inside the material folder. Gonna hide this. Bring the ID map and put it on top. The main render should be exactly at the bottom. I'm gonna bring all this shadow mask, depth, and AO to the top.
How did you get to open them all in one thingy?
What do you mean?
On one page?
just drag and drop off the renders that you did inside ZBrush and just drop them in the Photoshop document into the blank, the white background. Honestly, we don't need this white background, so we can just delete this layer. Okay. So make sure that all the layers are rasterized, all the layers are grouped. I mean, you don't really have to group them, but it will keep things more organized. Okay, so we're gonna open the materials. Make sure that the folder is visible. And the first render that we're gonna edit is called Madcap Skin of 4. Where is it? Didn't I save it? That's it. Anyway, we're just gonna go back and take the renders again. Not the renders, but the Madcap Skin of 4. Where is it? There we go. There we go. Right, it should be exactly on top of the main render. And this Madcap Skin of 4, I'll set the layer to be to a soft light. And you can already see how this enhances the main render. Right, so of course you can just work with the opacity levels and the fill layers, levels, sorry. Right, the next one I'll work with is the material skeleton material, right? I'm just going to enable this. And I'll set this material to divide. And then again, I can work with the opacity levels, fill levels as well.
Can I just quickly, oh man,
Okay, the next material is Framer 01.
batteries.
Okay, so for this material, I want to make the crevices look more detailed in a way. So I will work with the levels inside Photoshop. You can press Ctrl L, bring up the levels settings, or you can just go into the image adjustments and select the levels settings from here. What I'm going to do is make this really visible, right? I want to make each crevice, very visible. I should set something like this. And once I've done that, once I've changed the levels, I can just go into here and change the layer this to, let's see, soft light or overlay. I'm gonna put this to a soft light. Gonna work with the opacity and fill levels as well. Okay. Next I should work with soft solder. I'm gonna enable this. And this time I'm gonna play around a bit with the hue and saturation. So if you don't know the control R for this is Control U. You can open from Image, Adjustments, and Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. You can make this that's actually fine, really. Now, the reason why I've chosen this material is because I want to imitate the surface scattering effect on the skin. Now, what I'm going to do is create a black mask. In case you didn't know already, to create mask, you can press on this button right here. To create a black mask, you can press Alt and press on the same button. Right, so if you just press on this, we'll create a mask. But we want to create a black mask because we don't want this material to affect the whole model. And now on this black mask, I'm going to select a very soft brush. You can work with the general brushes. I have my own brushes here, which are a lot. Anyway, just go into the general brushes and select a soft round. Should be fine. Really increase the brush. Make sure that the color is set to white, and we'll begin. I'll also lower the opacity of the mask, of the brush, sorry. Like this, I'll begin just painting just briefly on the model, on the areas I want to have some surface scattering.
Like you gotta be like really kind of like I don't know what the word is, but I mean I thought it looked good already. Like I thought it was good enough.
No,
To
really.
do this, I'd be like, what? I wouldn't even know I had to do this because I thought it looked good enough. You know what I mean?
Right, so you don't have to do this on the whole model. You do this in only certain areas. You want to basically stand out in the final concept. Okay. The best thing is that you can do this with the mouse, really, so you don't need.
So you can't add like colours and stuff on ZBrush like this in certain areas.
No, no. I mean you could with with the poly paints, but it's not really the same effect. Okay. Now, if I want to paint only inside the tongue. If you remember, I had this ID map. I can enable this. The magic wand, I can select only the tongue, hide this, go back to the mask. Now if I go select the brush again, you'll see that only the tongue will be affected. Okay, I think this looks good enough. I'm just gonna disable the selection. Okay. Now for the reflected map number 2, number 1, we don't really have a lot of reflective surfaces on this model, right? I was thinking about only using the reflected map for the teeth, tongue, and the horns, and the front, the top part as well, and the eyes maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But if we want to create that wet effect for the tongue, we can do that with the reflected map number 1. Right, so we're just gonna enable this, and we're just gonna change the layer type to hard light. And again, what I'm gonna do is create a black mask. Select the tongue. Go into the brush menu. Make the brush bigger. Put the opacity to 100 and the flow to 100. Disable the ID map and go back to the black mask. Just gonna paint the tongue only. Of course, this looks way too strong, so I'm just gonna control the opacity values a bit and the fill values as well. I can actually see how only using this material actually gives this tongue a wet effect. Now, of course, I can do this for the inside of the mouth as well, so I'm just gonna disable the selection. Lower the opacity and the flow, and then just briefly paint inside the mouth. Right. Something like this. Okay, now that we got the reflected map number 1 of the way, we can focus on the reflected map number 2. I'm going to use the reflected map number 2 for the horns and for the eyes. And this is pretty much the same operation as the last material, so I'm just going to select eyes. You can make multiple selections by pressing Shift on the keyboard. Okay. Select all of that. We're going to turn off the ID map. Go back to the reflected map number 2. Create a black mask. Or actually just create a mask for the whole thing. Okay, now we're going to change the layer type to a hard light, and we're going to lower the opacity and fill. Make the eyes good. Of course I can erase. If the effect is too strong, I can actually erase, you know, certain parts of the mask. Just gonna change it to a black color. And I'm just gonna begin painting on the areas I want to lower that effect. You can actually see how the reflections are actually being erased. Okay. Let's work with the next material, which is BS Toxic Papa, which I named. Okay,
You
so
made it.
this one we're gonna
You made that material?
no.
Oh.
Let's see. Let's go to an overlay. Let's also drop the opacity levels a little bit. The fill as well. I'm actually gonna put this in between soft solder and frame roll 1. Now let's work with the GQ bubblegum. See what we can do with this. Can go to adjustments and change the color balance. We'll select this. Now, honestly, I have no idea what should I do with this. I can put it to actually I'm just gonna hide it. We can come back to it later. Yeah, don't really need to use it right now. I'm gonna go now to the metal O2 material. And because I want to have more reflections in the eyes, I'm just gonna select only the eyes with the ID map. Onto those selections. Hide the ID map. Go to
How
the
did
metal.
you select multiple selections? I thought you could only do one.
You can press shift, and while pressing shift, you can select multiple
Right.
things. Okay, so metal, create a mask. Only for the eyes, and I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna change this layer type to a hard light. Okay, I'm gonna change the opacity and the fill. Something like this. Okay, so we're pretty much finished with all the matte caps, the material renders that we did inside ZBrush. we also have the flat color. Now, when you change and combine different materials, you might notice that you could lose some color information. This flat color will actually bring back all the original colors that the model had. Now this flat color should be set to soft light. And of course, we can adjust the opacity in the fill. Alright, so it's not that strong, but it still changes and brings the result closer to the original color of the model that I did inside Zbrush. Okay, let's go and work with the lights now. Now I'm not gonna use all the lights. I'm just gonna choose one or two lights. You don't have to use all of them. For now, what I'm gonna do is select all of them and change the layer type to a screen. Okay. I'm gonna hide them again.
Scream, as in
Yes.
like screaming out loud.
No, so first you just make sure that all of them are enabled, they're visible.
Oh, screen.
Okay, so select all of them and change the layer type to from normal to screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is hide all of them again and begin.
Are you pressing shift again?
Yes, you can just press shift and just click on one eyeball
Okay.
to hide or unhide multiple layers. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go through each light render that I did inside Photoshop, inside Zbrush, sorry. I'm going to see exactly which one works the best with the model. Now, of course, the best part is that you can combine them. I can work the opacity levels. I can make a mask, then delete the light that I don't want.
How are you deleting it, by the way?
Create a mask.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's not actually deleting, it's more like hiding it with the mask. Okay, so you can just delete the lights that really don't make any sense. There we go. Now what I can do now is select different lights. We'll do the same thing. See what works, what doesn't work, what I need to delete, or what I need to add more lights. I'm gonna create a new mask again. and begin erasing light information that is not supposed to be in that specific place. Okay. Now, if you remember, we also made a render for the ring light, which is this one. For this, we just put it on top of all the lights. And we will change this. Oh, it's already changed the screen. Okay. So what we'll do right now is create a mask for this as well. We're gonna begin, well, erasing or hiding again all the lighting information that doesn't really make any sense. The ring light is supposed to be only on the contour of the model.
It's also what are you pressing to delete it?
Well, I only create a mask, right?
Yeah.
So if you press on this button, it creates mask.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
what are you pressing now?
What I'm pressing now is just I changed my brush to a soft brush, and also change the color of the brush to black. Because if you see here, the mask is set to white, right?
Okay.
So what I'm doing right now is just paint that part that I want to basically erase
Mm-hmm.
with the black color. Because if I paint only, if I change the color to white, mask again, I can actually bring back the parts that I've erased in the first one,
Okay.
right? Because the mask by default is set to white.
Mm-hmm.
So just by changing the color of my brush to black, I can.
So the rubber wouldn't work for that.
What's that, sorry?
I mean, the rubber, like that's not.
Well, you could use the rubber brush as well, but this is non-destructive, right? So if you want to bring back certain parts that you erased, you can do that easily by just changing the color of the brush.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm also gonna lower the opacity and the fill.
That's good for making things glow. Like that.
I mean, yeah, especially if you have like a light source coming from behind the model.
Or even like just glowing, something glowing.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I erased too much in this top part. I can change the color to white. I can bring back that light information. Okay, this is starting to look quite good, I'd say. Okay, so we got the ring light we have the lights, we have the materials. Let's go over the main renders, which is the depth, the ambient occlusion, the shadows, and the normal map. First, I'm just gonna work with the depth render. Just gonna put it here. I'm gonna enable it, and I'm just gonna change the levels. So image adjustments, levels. I'm just gonna make sure that the front of the model is more noticeable than the back subtools or models. Okay, this should be fine. Okay, now I'm going to change the layer type to overlay, and you can actually see that this enhances the concept. I'm going to do the same thing for the AO. Work the levels. I'm gonna make sure that I have some really good black values for the mount and for the back of the model as well. So that we should be fine. Let's put this to multiply. Right, so you can actually see how the ambient occlusion is affecting the mouth area. Right, it's much darker. The light is beginning to look more realistic. So I feel like it's too dark, so I'm just gonna drop these values a little bit. Okay. Okay, so next step will be the shadows. Shadow should sit on top of all of the main layers and on top of all the light layers. What I'm going to do here is set this from normal to multiply. You can actually see now that the shadows will be applied to the model. Now if you feel like the shadows are way too strong, you can control the opacity from here. Now don't worry, the background is quite black, but we're going to change that as well. Okay, so the normal map. Now this is quite interesting. In the normal map we have 3 channels, right? We have the red, the green, and blue channel. All these channels are going to combine and they're together. They're going to create the normal map. In Photoshop, we already have this channel tab. If we click on this, we're going to see all of the channels, and the good thing is that Photoshop already creates layers for these channels. Usually what we want to do with these channels is to actually see which channel actually reflects the light which channel better reflects the light on the model, right? So in some cases, the green channel will reflect the light better than the other one, than the red or blue channel. In my case, the red channel reflects the light in the best way. The blue channel is quite dull, right? We don't have any shadows. We do have shadows on the green channel, but then again, it's not respecting the original light that I chose for my character. The red channel is the best at reflecting the shadows, the ambient occlusion, and it's the closest to the light angle that I chose inside Zbrush. So what I'm going to do right now is Control V, Control A, sorry, Control C. And then I'm going to go back to the layers, and I'm going to press Control V. There we go. To paste this red channel. And after this, I'm just gonna change this red channel to an overlay. Okay, make sure this new layer, this red channel is set below the rim light, so that we actually have rim light information in this. Okay, so once we're done with this, what we can do is delete the black background. To do this, we'll need the mask render. We're going to enable this. We're going to select the white part, right click and inverse selection, select inverse. And now on all of the layers that we worked on, we just need to select the layer and press delete on the keyboard. What this will do is pretty much delete the black backgrounds, which we don't need. We do this for each individual layer. Okay, and now if I'm just gonna deselect this and hide the BPR mask render, you'll see that we have only the model without the background. Now, of course, you can import any image you want for the background. In my case, what I'll do is create my own background with the help of gradients. So I'm just gonna create a new layer, select the gradient tool from here, select what type of gradient I want. Actually, what I'm going to do is create a fill layer. It's much easier to do this. So, really, where was it? I'm just going to choose a really cool color for the background, something that's
Oh, not grey, that's almost like black.
that's fine, really. I'm just gonna put some gradients on anyway. So once I've chosen a fill layer, I can just go back into this, select the gradient tool, select what type of gradient I want from here. Basics. this. Now, I don't know why I'm choosing this blue. Let's see if this will work. This will be. Six. Select the color. What color should I make the background?
Red.
Red, okay.
You can't have red, the beholder's red.
Yeah, but it looks fiery. So I'm thinking red because it's coming out of the fire. I don't know. Or rainbow colours. Oh, but that's colouring the beholder.
Yeah, that's fine. What we can do is just
So how would you get it not to colour the beholder?
oh, come on. Stop glitching. There we go. Okay. Let's make a new gradient for the ring light. That's just- Maybe something like this. Some more black like this. Okay.
Oh, that's really cool.
Of course, you can work on the model more if you want. You can Photoshop some really cool eye pictures. What I'm gonna do is creates a new layer and starts
But did
painting.
you just say Google eye pictures?
Yep. I mean, I could do this one now, honestly. Snake eye. Snake image. And what we could do is just, let's see. Copy this. Back, paste it.
How did you just paste it so quickly?
Control C, Control V.
V.
Yep, this is the paste. Select inverse. Read it. And what I could do is pretty much move it in place. Change the eye,
Wow, that's so cool.
right? Can actually skew it as well. So if this doesn't match the proportions, I can skew it. Like this. Okay. What I could do then is work with the layer types. See which one was the best. I think I'm just gonna go to normal, really. Leave it to normal. Just gonna work the opacity. And then again, just press Ctrl D and warp it this time.
D.
Ctrl D.
O T.
Yep. Just work it in place. Pretty much what you can do with Photoshop, right? So just get an image on the internet in 2 seconds, then just edit this to your own models.
Yeah.
Right, so what we can do next is let's do a red dot right in the center. Let's do this for all of the eyes.
Why?
Okay.
Like laser beams.
Yeah.
So you know I have friends, yeah, that are looking on the internet going, oh my god, look at that picture, look at what? And I'm like, you know what, I don't believe any picture ever anymore. Like they're all
So,
fake.
What I can
You
do
just
right
don't know
now
what's
is
real.
just put it to color dodge. And then just drop the opacity a little bit.
Color touch.
Okay, now what I'm going to do now is make some post-process changes. So, I'm just going to go into the paint bucket tool. I'm going to select a cool color. Right, something like this. Just going to paint this to blue. Or actually what I could do is just select a hard round brush, make this really big. And then just
Oh.
paint the whole thing blue. And then change the layer type to something like soft light. And then change the opacity and fill values. So you can see that we have this really nice blue tint to the piece. Okay.
So hang on, did you create a new layer for that?
Yep. Just fill it with any color. Change the layer type.
But you actually did it on a separate layer?
Yes.
Okay.
Always try to work on different layers. Right. Okay. So we did add a tint effect, a blue effect to the artwork. Let's add a vignette effect. And to do that, you need to create a new layer. Paint bucket tool, select the color to black. Now go to the eraser tool, and what we're gonna choose is a soft round brush. I'm gonna make the brush really big. We're just gonna begin erasing the middle of that layer, so that we have this really cool vignette around the edges of the artwork.
How are you just erasing the? Oh yeah, because you're on the layer. Okay.
Okay, let's go back to the gradient layers. We're gonna create a new one. This time, let's choose this color. Let's do this. What I'm doing right now is just playing with colors, really. Don't want to have only reds and a little bit of blue tint in my background. Okay. This one is cool. Let's add more.
You know, with like work, did you find it like? Is it quite? Did you find it hard to like get constant work all the time?
What's that, sorry?
Like when you was in the field, like working,
Mm-hmm.
did you find it hard to like when you finished uni and qualified and stuff? Did you find it hard to find consistent work?
Well, it depends, because it's not like you're searching for them, they're searching for you, right? They're
Well,
the
as a
ones that-
newbie in the industry, they search for you.
Yeah, especially
Really?
in contracts, yeah. If you want to go for, let's say, if you want to go into industry and work in an office that, is doing this type of thing, yes, you will need to apply for this type of stuff. You'll need to have a portfolio, like a really good portfolio, and from there it's just a matter of applying to different jobs, different, companies.
Oh, so you're saying if you don't want to do like a desk job, then you can.
Like desk job, you mean like freelance, right?
Kind of, yeah. Because I'm just wondering, like, how you managed, like, when you finished uni.
Well, you can open your own website and sell your artworks there. You can make your markets and your store there. You can create, for example, if you want to do stuff like this, you can create metal prints and sell them.
Yeah, but to do that, like, you need customers. It's not going to be like making money straight away to do that.
Exactly, yeah. It's just a matter of just going and showing what you can do, pretty much. You need to have a lot of publicity on the internet. You need to create a lot of pages with different social medias. You have to have pages on ArtStation, Instagram, Twitter, even the internet. If you have your own your own website, it's a good thing to do because this whole industry is about exposing your work to the public. So for example, I had an invitation this year to present my work in an art exposition in London, right? So
an art exhibition
yeah.
for like digital art.
Well, honestly, didn't really look too much into details.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
You weren't interested in that?
nah, because
Oh my God, why?
the prints have to be very large, right? And I have to do the prints myself. And I don't stay in London, so that would mean that I have to transport all that to London. It's a
But
habit.
if someone in London wanted your work in a gallery, that is a big
Yeah, I
thing,
know.
man. Oh my God, that is like.
Keep you for 10 more minutes. After that, you're free to go for the day.
You know what I really want to learn is how to animate this character.
I mean, we're not going to animate this character because it's quite complex. It has tentacles, it has a lot of parts. We're going to learn how to animate a human first.
Okay.
Because it has
Mhm.
all we're gonna do a recap this Friday of all the things we learned in Zbrush.
You know what it is?
Okay. So what I'm gonna do right now is create a new layer. Change the brush. I'm gonna use my own brushes for this. You're free to use your brushes. But what I'm gonna do is select.
What would you say that you use that are the most important brushes for you?
Say it's the soft brush, the airsoft, the 93 sample brush,
Okay.
and the hard elliptical, and some cloud brushes. I don't know. It's just I have so many brushes that it's just I think I use like 10 of them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, which ones are your most important ones? Because obviously, can't use all of them.
Alright, so for this, I'm just gonna use this one. Make it smaller. Change the color a little bit. Opacity as well. I can do is adding some details. This is not really that good. Let's see what else we have here.
Do you do any illustration work?
I used to do illustration, yes, but that was a long time ago. That's why I have like all these brushes.
Yeah. Thought so.
I used to paint a lot and photo bash a lot. So just using the images I found on the internet, photo bash them, and then paint over them.
Yeah, you see, so I don't think you have to be a good drawer to be a good animator.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because there are so many cheat ways. And I remember fighting with Francis, isn't it, at the beginning? Because he said my drawings aren't good enough. And I said, but you don't have to be a good drawer. And he's like, of course you do. Draw more, practice.
It's not as important, I guess, anymore, because Francis is quite like.
He's really old school.
Yeah.
But he still has that idea, though, that you have to be good at art. I mean, I'm not bad at art,
as long
but
as you can convey your idea like in a simple way,
Yeah.
that's fine. And then I mean, this didn't
Exactly.
require any drawing.
Well, in all fairness, I don't think you have to be able to copy your character of someone else, don't you, do?
Yeah. Francis scares me. I'm honestly really afraid for next year. Like, I love Harry so much.
To the image or just to the background?
Blur very. Okay, so it's empty.
To the
Cool. So
image, I think.
before adding blur, what I like doing is pretty much creating a stem inside Photoshop.
A
No.
stem.
A stamp, yeah, a stamp means that it will pretty much compress all of the layers into one.
Oh, right.
So to create
Is that
a
like
stamp,
the same as flatten?
yeah, pretty much. So to create a stamp, you need to press Control, Shift, Alt, and E. A lot of key combinations, but this is how you create stamps. Right, so again, Control, Shift, Alt, and E.
E for egg.
Yes. And this is how you create a stamp. You see it here.
Okay.
Right, and with this stamp, what I like doing is changing, you know, some core settings such as brightness and contrast. Okay, what I like changing again is the hue saturation. Another thing you can change are the levels. Like this. Another thing that's really cool is called color lookup, which is basically the Snapchat filters or like the Instagram filters. You go here, you have all these options.
Oh,
You
right.
can click on one, and just with the arrow keys on the keyboard, you can scroll through them and see which one is the best.
How do you stop someone from stealing your work? You can't really, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, well, you can just put a logo in it. But
Yeah, but you
just
can
Photoshop
easily
this out.
erase the logo.
Yeah, but the thing is with the copyright thing, you can pay for copyright, right? So you actually have legal authority over it, or you can pretty much embed copyright ownership when you're saving the file, so that every time somebody tries to download that file, even if it's photoshopped, it will still have that information that you created. So you can use this to demonstrate that it's your own work.
Okay.
I like this one. Just gonna, I'm gonna choose this one. Short your opacity a little bit. And the cool thing is that you can add another color lookup and mix them.
How did you add another one?
From here,
Okay.
this sphere, right, color lookup. From here you can add vibrance, hue saturations, color balance. Let's actually do this right now. So this I'm just gonna after you're done creating all these changes, you can create a stamp again, and with this stamp we're just gonna create a blur effect, Gaussian blur. Okay. And create a mask. If you remember, if I'm gonna choose this one and change the color of the brush to black, make this really deep. And just delete the blur that I don't want. Yes, I will still have the blur in this area.
Are you trying to create a smoky effect or something?
Kind of like it's moving.
Alright. Mm.
It's subtle, but
Yeah.
it enhances a lot the final result. Another thing you can do is add a sharpening effect. So from the filter, sharpen, smart sharpen.
God, someone's not happy.
Because I've packed them off.
Okay, so create a stamp first, filter, sharpen, smart sharpen. There you go. I'm just gonna zoom in. You can control the amount of sharpening. Radius, not too much.
So you could go like really overboard with this
Oh,
stuff because
yeah,
like
totally, yeah.
it's like when you're writing an essay and like you just keep writing and writing and you just go off the point sometimes.
There you go. And this is the final result. I mean, I could work into this a lot more, but it's already.
But I mean, how
long,
do you
so-
know when to stop though? Because for me, like, I mean, now obviously I can see the difference. I can see like it's 10 times better, but even before I was like, oh, that was really good. Like, how would I know when to stop?
It's kind of hard though. Like even for me, sometimes it's like hard to like make some really small changes that's actually visible onto me. But
Hmm.
you need to stop. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So try to make it as good as possible, so that you're actually satisfied with the result. But also try to keep in mind how much time you have.
Oh yeah.
So what I can do right now is save a copy. Here. Desktop. To your PNG folder.
So why would you save it in PNG?
I mean, you can either save it as PNG or as JPEG. Usually PNGs has a higher quality.
Oh, okay.
What do I do? The folder. Have a large font size.
Mm.
And where is it? Should be here. It's not here. Let's save it again. No, I don't think I saved it in the right place. So. Should be here, right? There we go. There it is. There we go.
Mm.
That's the final piece.
Very good.
So just from using ZBrush, right modeling, poly painting, taking different renders of different materials, and putting all that, all those results in the Photoshop, we can have and create something like this. right? We didn't use any additional software for texturing. We didn't use any additional software for UV. We didn't need any UV maps, topology, new topology. This is all been done with 2 programs. Right? So yeah. Again, you can take your time with this. You can create something really cool, like a really cool background. You can, I think you asked me like last week's, how you can actually create something in Zbrush and then put it into your own.
Yeah, background.
Yeah, you can do something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's endless possibilities in this technique, really.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so any questions?